very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. It is a big day today. M Venkaiah Naidu will take over as the 13th Vice President of India. Now, President Ramnath Kovind will administer the oath to Mr. Naidu this morning at 10. This continues to be our top focus through the day today on Rajya Sabha television. Let us begin the 8 a.m. bulletin with the headlines. M Venkaiah Naidu take oath as the 13th Vice President of India. Swearing-in ceremony at Darbar Hall at Rashtrapati Bhavan at 10 a.m. Vice President-elect M Venkaiah Naidu laments about changing ethos of politics, says animosity among people with opposing views an unhealthy trend. Formal farewell given to outgoing Vice President Mohammed Ansari. Prime Minister lauds him for maintaining a delicate balance in the upper house. Last day of monsoon session of Parliament, leaders of 8 opposition political parties to meet to roll out a roadmap for joint fight against centre on various issues. And migrants deliberately drowned by human smugglers off the Yemen coast. 55 people presumed dead. United Nations says migrants forced from boat into the rough seas. Our top focus, M Venkaiah Naidu will take oath as the new Vice President of India today. The swearing-in ceremony will take place at the Darbar Hall at the Rashtrapati Bhavan at 10 a.m. He will be sworn in as the 13th Vice President of the country. Now, Naidu was elected as the Vice President after winning the polls that were held on 5th of August. Naidu, who was the NDA candidate for the election, defeated the opposition candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi. And a day before he takes oath as the Vice President of India, M Venkaiah Naidu spoke about a range of issues from the alleged intolerance in the country to the changing ethos of politics. Let's take a listen.
According to me, as a student of history and a student of politics till yesterday, Indian ethos, Indian values, they respect each other's right. And what you call in the modern day secularism, Sarva Dharma Samabhavana, equal respect for all religions. That is very much there in the blood of the people of India. Not because of this party or that party or this government or that government. Not even because of constitution also. Constitution, yes. But even before the constitution, the very Indian people, their mind, their blood, they have that secularism, Sarva Dharma Samabhavana. And whoever has come from outside, they have invited them with open arms. That's the tradition of this country, one. And secondly, with regard to minorities, I find people are now trying to convert this into a political issue. The day when you started treating minorities as vote banks, you started hurting their interests. This is how I see it. Whoever it is, I am not saying this party or that party. That's not my business. We have to consider that they are equal partners in the country. Now, another menace that has crept into political system in the country is opportunism and defections. That has become a very major issue now across the country. We brought the anti-defection law. Has it served the purpose? Is it sufficient? We have to think about it. Politicians who are there in the politics in the country, they have to introspect about it. And then come forward with much more improved versions to tackle this menace of defection. I am not against people changing parties. If your party goes wrong, if he is not able to tune according to the need of the people or wish of the people, then naturally the party leadership goes berserk and do not even respect the sentiments of this thing. One can change the party. But the moment you are changing the party, you must resign from the post you got on account of that party. With regard to politics, with my little experience as a party functionary, as a ruling party president and all, what I want to tell is that the politics have undergone a change. Now again, the politicians has to look back and see to it that the politics again are brought to on the basis of ideology, on the basis of programs, on the basis of issues. All these people who are in other parties till yesterday, they are all my rivals. That should be the attitude. We should be meeting each other, talking to each other, consultations, we should be attending social functions, and we should not have any animosity against each other. After all, what is BJP, what is Congress, what is Communist, what is the other parties? Everybody is trying to serve the people in their own way, as per their thinking and as per their philosophy. So that is the main purpose, is to serving the people. So one should not consider other as his enemy. This is another important point I am commenting, because I want the people to take note of the same. Because we have seen in the recent past that sort of animosity now.
And a farewell ceremony was organized for outgoing Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari. A citation was presented to him on behalf of the members of the Rajya Sabha in presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Ansari maintained a delicate balance in the upper house because of his intellectual capability and skills.
जुदा मेरी मंजिल, जुदा तेरी राहें, मिलेंगी ना अब तेरी मेरी निगाहें.
Outgoing Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari, at the formal farewell accorded to him at the GMC Balayogi Auditorium, said he was leaving satisfied. He also said that India is a unique democracy.
But the greatness of the system, as I discovered over 10 long years, was that the exchanges were purposeful, that views were expressed without generating animosity. And this is what is unique about our political system.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi presented a memento to the outgoing Vice President. He said that Ansari's 10-year tenure was free of controversies. He said that his style of functioning is an example for future Vice Presidents.
इतना लंबा सार्वजनिक जीवन में अलग अलग पदों पर दायित्व संभालने के बाद कम से कम मेरे ध्यान में कोई भी ऐसी चीज नहीं आई है जो अंसारी जी के साथ विवादों में घिरी हुई हो. ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी बात है.
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan hoped that Hamid Ansari would lead an active life in social service. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian thanked the outgoing Vice President for maintaining grace in running of the upper house.
क्योंकि व्यक्ति वैसे कभी रिटायर नहीं होता है, कुछ ना कुछ तो करते, और जो उनका स्वभाव है उसके अनुसार जरूर आगे का उनका जो जीवन है कुछ ना कुछ अच्छे कार्य में ही वो बीते, स्वस्थता से बीते, और मैं उनको शुभास्ते पंथानाम कहती हूँ.
You also ensured that members get ample opportunities to raise matters of urgent public importance. Through all these initiatives, you have made a seminal contribution in strengthening the role of the Rajya Sabha in India's parliamentary democracy.
Finance Minister and leader of the Rajya Sabha Arun Jaitley also praised Ansari for the manner in which he conducted the running of the upper house. Leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, was also full of praise for Ansari. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar also spoke about his association with him.
You are free from the challenges of running the upper house. I think you will have a lot more time to follow these pursuits and continue to guide the country, something which you have been doing in the last several years.
राज्यसभा की फंक्शनिंग और वर्किंग में जो आपने तब्दीली लाई वो हमेशा के लिए पार्लियामेंट और पार्लियामेंटेरियंस के लिए एक बड़ी याद बनी रहेगी.
Your steadfast commitment to make our parliamentary institutions a strong bulwark against disorder and disruption has received all-round appreciation, and its moments of highs and lows that you have had witnessed.
Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was also present on the occasion. The outgoing Vice President was also given a farewell dinner.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself mentioned the tenure of Mohammed Hamid Ansari was free of controversies. There can be no good words for farewell in politics than this. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with Camera Person Sanjay in Delhi.
In fact, my colleague Akhilesh Suman is joining us live from New Delhi. He is stationed outside Mr. Naidu's house in the national capital. A very good morning, Akhilesh. Now, stage all set for Mr. Venkaiah Naidu to take over as the 13th Vice President of India. We understand that Mr. Naidu will first go to Rajghat and pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, and thereafter proceed towards Rashtrapati Bhavan, where his swearing in will take place. Tell us the itinerary of the day.
Yeah, in addition, he will go to Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Park, and then after that he will go to the house Rajya Sabha. He will meet the officials in the chamber, his chamber, and after that the welcome remarks will be read out and spoken in Rajya Sabha, and after that the house will be adjourned today. But this session is also going to be signed, I think, from today. So Venkaiah Naidu, who will be the chairman, also Vice President of India, will be attending Rajya Sabha of the House from the next session. Aishwarya.
Right, and Akhilesh, now a day before his swearing-in ceremony, we saw Mr. Naidu sharing his views on crucial issues. He said that the agenda of politics should be development, and also adding that India is the most tolerant country in the world. Tell us more.
Yeah, really it was very interesting to hear Mr. Hamid Ansari and also Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. Mr. Hamid Ansari was reviewing his whole tenure, and also he was mentioning some of the issues that has cropped in the last 10 years during his tenure. And when Mr. Venkaiah Naidu was speaking, he was the new custodian of Constitution as Vice President of India, and he spoke very well about how the Constitution, how the democratic system India provides safety to all sections of society, including the minorities, because this is the time when opposition is raising some issues that is related to the sentiment related to the safety, security of some sections of society. And as a Vice President and also Chairman of the House, Venkaiah Naidu plays the fear of any community, and he's told that India is a country that is security and gives opportunity to all sections of society. So it is very interesting to see that what the outgoing Vice President is raising some issue that he had been confronting, he has been hearing in the debates of parliamentarians in the upper house, and he tried to say that issue that he is leaving behind him, and now Mr. Venkaiah Naidu will have to deal with these issues in the upper house, because you know the upper house is a chamber, in the house where it is told elders' house, and people from different walks of personal life comes. It is like a house of elders, like a house of experts also. So debate in the upper house is all told to be the high pitch and also qualitative. Mr. Venkaiah Naidu has also drawn a line that yes, he will not be a very silent chairman. He will be just watching what is happening and what is going on. He will also react, and he will also express his opinion. So I think that this was a statement of the Vice President. His inauguration is going to be done today at around 10 in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Aishwarya.
Right, Akhilesh, you stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you through the day today. It is going to be a hectic day for you. Meanwhile, outgoing Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari bid adieu to the upper house on Thursday after serving 2 consecutive tenures at the helm. Now, quoting India's first Vice President, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, he said that the opposition's opportunity to question government policies is what keeps a democracy from turning into tyranny. Take a look.
Mohammed Hamid Ansari served as the 12th Vice President of India since August 11, 2007. He is the second person to be re-elected as Indian Vice President after Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan in 1957. He was first elected as the Vice President and the Rajya Sabha Chairman in 2007 and re-elected in 2012.
When I was welcomed in this house 10 years back, an eminent leader, no longer with us in this world, gave a piece of advice, and I quote him, "Kal ke baad, aapko bahut तकलीफ होगी। मुझे आपसे हमदर्दी है कि आप इस तकलीफ को झेल जाएं। और एक सलाह भी है कि हम लोग कितना भी हल्ला करें, आप अपने चेहरे पर गुस्सा मत दिखाइए और हमेशा हंसते रहिए। हम सब के सब लोग देश के दुश्मन नहीं हैं, लेकिन हम सब एक मुस्कान पर फिदा हो जाते हैं और चुपचाप बैठ जाते हैं." I confess I had no difficulty in benefiting from this eminently sensible counsel. I discovered in these years the validity of the dictum that wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. It needs to be nurtured. I venture to think that I succeeded in measure. The chair is like an umpire in cricket or a referee in a hockey match, witnessing the play and the players, but without becoming a player. Its only source of reference is the book of rules. This house is a creation of the Constitution and reflective of the wisdom and foresight of the founding fathers who wished it to portray India's diversity and to be a calibrated restraint on hasty legislation. It has upheld democracy's sacred creed that discussion, instead of being a stumbling block in the way of action, is in fact an indispensable preliminary to wise action. Deviation from this golden rule contribute neither to diligent policy making nor to our claim to be a mature democracy based on rule of law. In this context, I would like to recall, as I did in August 2012, the words of the most distinguished of my predecessors, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and I quote, "A democracy is distinguished by the protection it gives to minorities. A democracy is likely to degenerate into a tyranny if it does not allow the opposition groups to criticize freely and frankly the policies of the government. But at the same time, the minorities have also their responsibilities. While they have every right to criticize, their right of criticism should not degenerate into willful hampering and obstruction of the work of Parliament. All groups must, therefore, have their rights and their responsibilities." End of quote. I fervently hope that all sections of the House would seek to achieve this laudable objective. The manner in which they attend to their business is watched by the citizen body with a discerning eye. As I leave this chair, I wish the Rajya Sabha well. I wish success to its members in the responsibilities entrusted to them. I thank the Secretary General, Shri Shamsher Sharif, and the officials of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat for the exemplary manner in which they attended to their responsibilities. An Urdu couplet is perhaps appropriate way of farewell. आओ कि आज ख़त्म करें दास्तान इश्क, अब ख़त्म आशिकी के फसाने सुनाए हम. Jai Hind.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
All right, so it is going to be a big day today. These are the live visuals that we are getting from outside Mr. Naidu's house in New Delhi. And as you can see, in a short while from now, the entire cavalcade will move at about 8:30 a.m. we understand that Mr. Naidu will go to Rajghat and he will pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. Thereafter, he will then proceed to pay tribute to Jan Sangh leader Deen Dayal Upadhyay and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And thereafter, he will proceed to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and at around 10 a.m. we understand the entire oath-taking ceremony will take place in the Darbar Hall of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So, Mr. Naidu taking oath this morning as India's 13th Vice President today. The entire ceremony is scheduled at 10 in the morning. Remember, nominated by the ruling NDA, he had won the Vice President election last week. And as you can see, some sort of movement that we are witnessing outside Mr. Naidu's residence in the national capital. Remember, with 516 votes, Mr. Naidu had won 67.9% of the vote share in the election, and he had defeated the opposition's candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi. Remember, it was the highest vote share in 30 years. And Mr. Naidu earlier had quit as the senior cabinet minister in the NDA government and the ruling BJP after being nominated as the NDA's vice presidential candidate. So you can see some sort of movement there, really commotion really happening outside Mr. Naidu's residence, and we understand in a short while from now Mr. Naidu is going to leave his residence and he is going to proceed to the Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. So these are the live visuals that we are getting from New Delhi, that is outside Mr. Naidu's residence in New Delhi. He is going to take over as the 13th Vice President of the country today. All right, my colleague Akhilesh Suman is also stationed outside Mr. Naidu's residence. Akhilesh, can you hear me? All right, so stage really set for Mr. Naidu to take over as the 13th Vice President of India. He is first going to go to Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, and then he is going to proceed towards Rashtrapati Bhavan. The swearing-in ceremony will take place at the Darbar Hall. Remember, a day before his swearing-in, Mr. Naidu had shared his views on crucial issues. He talked about politics, he talked about a number of issues. He said that the agenda of politics should be development. He also said that India is the most tolerant country in the world. So indeed, it is going to be a very emotional moment really for Mr. Naidu, starting as a student leader. Mr. Naidu's rise to become the 13th Vice President of India is really a culmination of 46 years of long political journey. And after taking oath, he will move to his new residence, that is house number 6 on Maulana Azad Road in the national capital. This is the official residence of the Vice President of India. Speaking about this particular bungalow, now this house has had many illustrious residents. We had freedom fighters, we had bureaucrats and politicians. In fact, 6 of them became the President of India after the end of their term. And earlier, a day before taking oath as the 13th Vice President of India, Mr. Naidu expressed also his disapproval of disruptions in Parliament. Remember, he is going to be the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and he had said that he would enforce rules to run the Rajya Sabha, but he also sought cooperation from the members. He said that the government needs parliamentary approval to push legislations so it can implement the agenda for which it had received the people's mandate. And he said that both houses of parliament have the responsibility to have legislators discuss the bills and so the stage really set there for Mr. Venkaiah Naidu to take oath today. The ceremony slated at 10 a.m. at the Darbar Hall today. So as Vice President, Mr. Naidu will be the Rajya Sabha chairman, and in fact the government is also hopeful that his presence will result in the House running more smoothly. Because the opposition members who actually outnumber the treasury benches in the upper house have often blocked government's legislations. Mr. Naidu yesterday seeking the cooperation of all the members of parliament, and he said that we must be mature enough to conduct the proceedings of the parliament in a smooth and meaningful manner. And he said that the chair is not only a presiding officer but also the custodian of the house. We are going to get you live visuals through the day today. And earlier we were getting you the visuals from outside Mr. Naidu's residence in New Delhi. Remember, he'll be soon moving to a new house. And that is house number 6 on Maulana Azad Road in New Delhi. The bungalow is really being decked up for its new resident. Soon Mr. Naidu will move in with his family there. So stage set for Mr. Naidu to take over as the 13th Vice President of the country. The swearing in will take place at the Darbar Hall at the Rashtrapati Bhavan at 10 in the morning. Remember, Mr. Naidu was elected the Vice President after winning the polls that were held on 5th of August. He was the NDA candidate for the elections and he had defeated the opposition's candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi. On Rajya Sabha television, through the day today, we'll be getting you all the updates and live visuals right from Mr. Naidu's residence, and thereafter as he will proceed towards Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, and thereafter we'll be following that up from visuals from the Darbar Hall of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where the swearing-in ceremony is scheduled to take place at 10 in the morning. And ahead of his swearing-in ceremony, Vice President-elect Mr. Naidu had on yesterday said that India is the best model of secularism. He spoke about a number of issues. Remember, Mr. Naidu has been a member of the Andhra Pradesh Assembly twice, and he has been a Rajya Sabha MP for 4 terms. He was the Minister of Rural Development in the previous NDA regime.